And we have some sponsors as well. I'm just going to do a quick introduction of who's doing what, and then going to introduce the speaker, Jacob, of tonight. And then we'll just go to the presentation. And after that, we're going to do, just some drinks and some chats and maybe some more examples from Jacob and stuff. So tonight's location sponsor, as you know, is Enrise. Welcome here. I'm actually one of the employees, lucky enough, among with Stefan and Renato, Steven, Robert Jan over there. So if you want to know more about Enrise, just come up to us. We're happy to host this. Server Grove is hosting the website. They're providing a virtual private server for the website. Ingewikkeld. Where's Stefan? I don't see him. Well, he was here. He will be here in a few. Stefan from Ingewikkeld is hosting, or is actually paying for the Meetup account, which costs money. So we can actually, we have a nice platform to meet each other and plan all these meetings and stuff. And we have O'Reilly, as most of you know, we have the discount stuff from O'Reilly. That we have discount codes that if you want a book from the O'Reilly shop, who does is a publisher for programming books and other tech-related stuff, you can get discount codes at me today or any other PHP Amersfoort person, but they aren't here tonight. So tonight we're going to get an introduction to penetration testing. I abbreviated the entire title because, it was kind of long. It was what was it again? I will okay, great. You forgot it, didn't you? No, I just kidding. It was like. Anyway, but Jacob from Amsterdam PHP, right, is going to introduce us to penetration testing in web applications, which is, as you all know, a very interesting subject, which is very underexposed in our world. So I'm very sure this will be of interest to all of us. Regular as normal, the talk is on joined in as well, so you can rate it afterwards. You can tell Jacob what you liked, what you didn't like, stuff like that. I'll get back to that after this introduction. So I would like to introduce you to Jacob, and he'll take it from there.
All right.
I think.
Let me connect this bad boy and see if it will work.
If the cable works, that is.
If not, I will have to do some pantomime here, presenting you with.
For those of you who didn't know yet, we have drinks, coffee, and stuff in the kitchen. So it's up for grabs if you want some. Go for it.
Okay, and oh, like a magic! Thank you, thank you. Yes. All right. So, welcome everybody to tonight's Amsterdam PHP. I'm sorry, Amersfoort PHP. This presentation is titled "I want to be a hacker, but I only look good in a white hat." Yes. Because it's about breaking websites, but legally. Who am I? My name is Jacob Gatkowski. I'm a backend developer at Netwerve. I'm helping Amsterdam PHP being awesome from time to time. If you got any questions or you want to catch me on Twitter, then @JacobGA. All right, so what is pentesting? Pentesting is breaking websites legally and getting paid for it. It's like, yay, hooray, we can break something and, everybody's happy because of that. But hang on. You're saying that I should break my own website? It's like, punching my own face, right? It's like, no, actually you should break it because somebody else on the internet is already waiting there to break it for you. So if you're fast, you can fix it before they get it. Don't know what's your level of advancement in knowing the different attacks, but I will do a short presentation of the most common types of attacks, and if this is too high level or too low level, just raise a hand and let me know, okay? So one of the most common attacks is persistent XSS. It's a cross-site scripting where you inject malicious JavaScript into the target website, and that JavaScript is persisting in the database. So every time somebody visits the website brings up this malicious script and do something, steal cookies, steal passwords, try to do some other stuff. This can be leveraged on contact forms that maybe not contact forms because they send emails. This can be used on when you save data, like users' data in the database, and you don't clean up the code. Anything that goes into the database and stays there without proper cleanup can be used to do the persistent XSS. Reflected XSS is when you inject the script, but the script does not stay on the website, but needs to be accessed using a crafted link. So for example, you have a login form, and that login form, after you try to log in, shows you some hints like, oh, the name is okay, but your password is wrong, and then it shows your name. The attacker can craft an attack, craft a link that can be used to access this website and leverage this this vulnerability, that field that's not properly cleaned. SQL injection or SQL blind injection, they are very similar. SQL injection is when you have information from the database, like error messages. Blind SQL injection is when you don't have any sort of feedback, and you just do everything blindly, just counting response, how fast the database is responding. Again, if you have fields with unescaped values that goes directly to the database, you can try SQL injection. If you're successful with the attack, then you can basically overtake the whole database and own the server. CSRF or CSRF, cross-server request forgery, is type of attack when you can create a link or create a form that access form on different website or action on different website. And if you don't check the source of the action, like for example contact form, and you can send an email, if you don't check the source that the request comes from, then the attacker can say start sending emails without visiting your website by building some bot and just sending requests to your website constantly. Data mining. A lot of people think that this is not a type of attack, but you can get a lot of information of some website. You can use search engines like Google to get a lot of information by searching for documents, searching for PDFs, for any information that's on the website, but maybe it's not directly attacking the website, but by scraping all this information, you can retrieve addresses, you can retrieve names, phone numbers, email addresses, and then you can do some social-based attacks, like, I don't know, calling somebody in the office and telling that this person told you to call and ask for the access to the server, for example. So those are the most common attacks. There's many, many more. Directory traversal, remote code execution, privilege escalation. They are mostly remedied by the server themselves. So if you have a good administrator of the server and you're running, for example, mod security should fix most of those. Of course, not like session stealing, because for session stealing, you can just go to the Starbucks, start scanning the network, and see, all the people that are not using secure connections or not using HTTPS, and just grab their passwords, and do whatever. All right. Now the main part, tools. So this is my main tool. No, sorry, this is not my main tool. This is my main tool. As I mentioned, the first thing, okay, maybe a word of explanation. I'm doing mostly backend development, but I incorporate pen testing in my workflow. Usually after each release, we do some pen testing. It's not like very low level where we check everything manually. That takes ages, but we do the pen testing like every large release. So we are sure that the websites are not broken or cannot be broken into. So the first tool, Google, used for data mining. You can ask Google using those queries, for example, some site, and file type doc, and Google will spit you out all the results of found documents on the website, and you can download them. You can ask for file type documents, PDFs, anything you want, XLS, CSS, CSV, anything that can give you some information, and the developers did not think about it, that those documents might have some value. Once you get those documents, there are some scripts that can parse the documents and retrieve you all the information about the users, about emails, phone numbers, and then create a nice table for you just to print out and use for your own devices. You might think that this is not a big deal, but some people might even put financial information on the website, some bank account statements or something, because they think they are safe in some obscure folder. Another thing that you can use Google to is checking for common SQL injection points, because Google will will spider the whole website. You can then ask Google, for this website, give me all the pages that have this error message. And if you've got this error message, it's like, oh, 95% that there will be SQL injection there, because the database is like returning me this error. There is this really nice website, I will mention it later on as well, Exploit Database. There is hundreds of thousands of those queries there. They are called Google Dorks. You can just go there and copy paste and try to have fun with your website and see whatever you can retrieve from there. Okay, now next tool is something for the WordPress users. Don't know how many of you are using WordPress. Anyone? Hello. All right. So let me change to the okay. Can you see the text on the screen, or is it too small? No? Just, okay.
Does control and then swipe up work? Usually that's...
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
Then, yeah, I tried, but it doesn't work, unfortunately. Hmm?
You can change the screen resolution.
But this is not on a Mac. This is in a virtual machine that runs.
The screen resolution of the virtual machine, and then everything gets bigger instantaneously. But
You
then
can
you
also
still need to
reduce the screen resolution of your Mac.
Okay, let me check this then. Is this better?
Yes.
Hooray! Okay. So for those that are using WordPress, there is this nice tool called WPscan. What it basically does, it grabs everything that it can take from your WordPress installation on the server, connects to the WordPress vulnerability database, and then it tries to figure out the ways to get into your WordPress. So the first thing we need to do is update. Well, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's quite important step, because the database is updated daily or sometimes twice a day or something. So I've got this really nice website here that I've checked before. It's the website for judges and lawmakers in the UK. Let's run the scan against that website and see what happens. Okay, yes, they have non-standard installation. There is no content directory, but well. So what happened here? A lot of information about the about the website, and then the WPscan tried to enumerate all the vulnerable plugins. It found that they're using contact form 7 with the security bypass and file upload remote code execution that is possible to execute. So what I can do now, I completely don't know what does it mean, right? I just click on this, and there is a full description how to use this, and how can I just go there and upload something. This is the most simple way how to use WPscan, because what else it can do? It can enumerate users. I'm not gonna do this right now, because if they catch me, I'll be in trouble. Then after enumerating the users, I can pass the dictionary, and if they don't have any protection against brute force attempts to log in, I can just leave it for a few days, and it will try to go through the whole dictionary and try to find the account that has a weak password. And the files with like 10 million most popular passwords are all over the internet, so it takes 10 minutes to find it and download it. At work, we have our own file with our own passwords that are forbidden to go to the production, and I have to run them because some people are forgetting that, for example, if I'm doing this small WordPress website and I'm using password admin, login admin and password with capital P and 0 instead of O, and I put it on the production server, then 5 minutes later somebody will just hammer it and it'll be there. So we need to check those. And it happens that people forget about it. Okay, so that was the WPscan. Very simple use. Yeah, you can run update, then you can check quickly. You can also make it more robust and go into details, because what we will be doing is the white box situation where we know exactly how the website is built, so we don't have to guess. So we can give the WPscan all the plugins directories, and then it will, with 100% knowing 100% sure, it will check this folder for every possible plugin and vulnerability. OWASP Zap Proxy. This is a very interesting tool that it's basically it's a scanner that scans your website for a lot of where's my cursor? For a lot of vulnerabilities, like all the XSS vulnerabilities I showed you, SQL injections, a lot of server-related issues as well. Let me just run it. Okay. Okay, Zap is loading. Okay, so now I'm running this small website in my Vagrant box that I modified a little bit to have a couple of XSS vulnerabilities on the login field. So what you do, the simplest setup for Zap Proxy is you download it from its website. I will give you a link at the end. Then there is this button, Quick Start, and you just type the address. And then you click Attack. First it spiders the whole website, and then it runs a lot of attacks on them. This is a very small website, like 5 pages, so it takes very, very fast, but normally it can take up to a few hours if there is a large website with a lot of links and you know. And now we've got some alerts here. The first of the most important is the red flag cross-site scripting. Hello, we found something. So now we can check the request and see that this was a post request, and the values were password Zap. Nothing happened there, but the user was injected with this piece of JavaScript. And what happened in response? This piece of JavaScript was decrypted here. So now I know that this field is vulnerable. So if, for example, let me see. see this. Localhost. So this is this small application, and if I go to this page, right? So this is the field that's vulnerable. Can you see it? This field is vulnerable. So now I can replicate the information that Zap Proxy gave me, and just try to close this, right? And let's see what happens if I submit this. There is a reflected XSS attack. So now, instead of this silly alert 1, I could, for example, put a link to some external JavaScript that will download and put an overlay over this website and steal all passwords. And I can send this link to some users, and they will be like, oh, there is a new version of my favorite web app. Click on the link.
And you don't need to have an account in that website.
No, you don't.
No.
No, this is reflected attack. It's not as dangerous as persistent because this script is not on the website. You need to click on the link to be redirected there.
Yeah.
But you know, there are still people that are answering the emails about the Nigerian prince that have 100 millions. So it's no wonder that some people are clicking links to websites.
There's a red sign in it that says stop and alert danger, and everybody will click on
Yep, they will. They will. So this is this is the simplest you can do. If I can I open it somehow more? No, we don't have enough screen space. Oh yeah, now better. So this is a list of all the vulnerabilities Zap Proxy found. Most of them are because I'm running it in Vagrant, and I don't run any mod security, Suhozi, nothing like that. It's just, you know, development. But I'm mostly interested in all the XSS attacks and SQL injections. What's really interesting about it is that if I want to play around with different fields, I can take those requests and resend them. Yeah, I can resend them, but you cannot see it because it opened on my second screen. Yeah. And I can resend them. And I can play around with those values here. So for example, I can install a plugin for Firefox that put the proxy, the whole traffic from Firefox through Zap Proxy, and I can retrieve all the headers and everything together with cookies and all the information that goes through the website. And then I can play around and try to inject in different fields. If I have like a, I don't know, application form, registration form, I can just hit every field and check them manually or not. Somebody asked me before, okay, but this is all manual work. Can I do something with this? And actually, yes, because there is a plugin for Zap Proxy that allows it to connect it with Codeception and Selenium. So you can automate it. So you can create your own tests, your own attacks, and then just run them after when you do tests.
I can just do it if I have a test environment or automated test environment. I have it triggered after each session commit.
Yes, you can. Of course, there are better tools for that. They are completely command line. But this one is really nice because it gives you a lot of tools, and it's free, so you can't beat free. Okay, so this is Zap Proxy. There is another tool that's called W3AF. It's very similar to Zap Proxy. It's very similar. It gives you a little bit easier interface in the beginning, where you just select like the most common attacks, high risk attacks, brute force or something, and then you just give him the address and hit play, and after an hour or something it will spit you out the result. Those two tools, W3AF and Zap Proxy, very nicely complement each other, with one small difference. W3AF is not, you cannot save the session. With Zap Proxy, you can save the whole session and you can restore it later on with everything, with all the headers, with all the information about attacks, with the whole structure of the site here. And you can save it, send it over to somebody and say like, look, I've got this report, maybe you can try to break something more. And later on you can create a really nice report. You can generate like an HTML report. Let's call it test. And you can send it over to your boss and see like, look, this is what we have, right? But by the way, if you see this from the, if you hire a professional pen testing company and they send you something like this, they didn't do a good job, because they just run Zap Proxy and send you the automatically generated result. Okay, Zap Proxy.
But how does this Zap Proxy compare to a tool that a professional security auditing company would use?
It's free.
But in terms of quality?
Well, it's got worse documentation. But regarding the quality of attacks, you can do everything the same, like with burpsuit, Nessus, any other tools like that, and you don't have to pay. They are working on documentation. It's getting better every month. They upgrading it, updating it, adding new stuff. And there is a lot of tutorials on YouTube as well. So you can, instead of just reading, you can just fire up YouTube and check those tutorials. Pretty neat. Okay, so Zap Proxy, yeah?
The question, you said the W3AF and Zap Proxy do complement each other, but in
Yes.
what way? What does W3AF do differently then?
It uses different, so Zap Proxy is a Java application. W3AF, I think it's just command line C written in C or something like that, with some GUI on top of it. And they use a little bit different algorithms to check for SQL injections, for XSS. Sometimes they overlap and they detect the same, but sometimes they don't. And then you can detect like very intricate hidden field in one, but not in the other. So it's worth to run them both. Professional pen testers will not rely on the automatic spiders and automatic tools. They will just go through the website manually and map all those fields manually. And then once they have they know all the fields, they can start the automatic scan of the fields they have found, and then they just find it more accurately. But well, this is just for us, for developers, that we can have like a first line of defense. So Zap Proxy, W3AF. SQLmap. Yeah, this is my favorite tool. It allows you to find SQL injections and leverage those injections. It looks absolutely like innocent. It's just a small CLI application. But if you expect that there is a field that might be vulnerable to SQL attack, it will probably nail it. And if it finds it, then you will get access to the whole database, like completely, with everything. So, yeah, let me start this. So, we've got some website that I found that the search parameter is vulnerable. So I'm running SQLmap. It's trying to figure out what the database is behind it. It's trying to generate the union queries to find out what was the original SQL query, so they will match together. And once it's find out the union query, it will start blind time attacks, because this website does not give me back any error messages. And those blind attacks are quite clever, because it builds a statistical model of how the database is responding, and uses those response times to figure out if the query succeeded or not. Yes, so trying different type of attack now. The search parameter was found out that it's vulnerable, and now you can see the fun part. Sorry. What? Come on, go back. The fun part when it just retrieving the. Okay, so now it's just trying to enumerate the names of all the users, and now it just retrieves the passwords, the hashed passwords of those users, database users. And once it retrieves the whole hash, I will run it against the dictionary to check if they are standard passwords or not. They are standard dictionary-based attack against the retrieved passwords. Yes. And it's trying to figure out. There we go. Root is root. Another root is root. And that's what it found. And now, well, basically, if it happens on the live website, I've got a password for the MySQL administrator. And if I have passwords for MySQL administrator, I can not only access the database, but I can use all the vulnerabilities of MySQL database with this number to, for example, upload file and execute it on the server. And then the whole server is completely.
But only if you can reach it remotely.
Yes, of course. Yeah. But if I have access to the database like here, and I have a password for the root user, for the administrator, well.
Then you hope it's not the system's root user as well. Yeah.
Yes, but well, in this case, the worst case scenario, I can have access to the full server. The best case scenario, I can download all the data from there and see all the data that was in the database. Okay, yeah. What? Oh my gosh, this is crazy, right? Okay, so we did those tests. We found those XSS vulnerabilities. We found this parameter that's vulnerable. And now we have to write a report, because this is really important. 10 minutes after finding all those vulnerabilities, you probably won't remember them. So you have to write it down. Zap Proxy is really nice because it generates the report for you. Other tools like WPscan, you can just pipe the output to the text file and write something nice. Write down the addresses that are vulnerable, describe how to replicate the vulnerabilities so other developers can try to do it quickly, and then you can add what do you think can fix the vulnerabilities to help them. Some resources. Backbox. This is a full Linux distribution, pre-packed with all the pen test tools. Not only pen test tools, other tools like for scanning networks and stuff like that. But it comes pre-packed with WPscan, SQLmap, Zap Proxy, W3AF, I think with Metasploit as well.
What's the difference between Backbox and Kali Linux?
Kali is on the second slide. Whatever works better for you. I was just using Backbox first, and then I get to know Kali. So for me, it's like, you know, Backbox first, Kali second. I think Kali at this point has more tools. They have OpenVAS, Metasploit, all the like really advanced tools already pre-packed.
You have the Metasploit with Vega tool, which is a nice combination.
Too. I think on Kali, there was some problem with W3AF on Backbox, but on Kali it works fine. So on Backbox you have to probably do some more manual labor to make it work. But basically, which one works better for you, that one is better. Kali comes with pre-built images for VirtualBox, so you can just download it and you don't have to even install it. You just click it and it runs.
They have Docker images now too, so you can just run without installing anything.
Yeah, I don't think there are either Docker or Vagrant or VirtualBox images for Backbox. You have to install them manually. So yeah, this is great resource for everything about vulnerabilities and how to mitigate them. It slowed down a little bit around 2 years ago, but last year, 2014 and now 2015, they start adding new documents and updating a little bit more. So it's still well worth looking into it. They've got pages and pages about XSS attacks and how to mitigate them, SQL injections and stuff like that. WPscan vulnerability database. Yeah, if you're into WordPress, you go there and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna throw it away through the window because it's crap, and all new vulnerabilities are found every day. Ethical hacking is a really nice blog with a lot of hacking related stuff. Exploit database. This is the database I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. Tons and tons of exploits, tons and tons of Google Docs that you can just go, copy, paste in Google, add your target website and try to see what you can download off the website. YouTube. A lot of conferences, a lot of materials about how to break websites and how to not get caught. Oh. Google. Just if you need something, just Google it. And by the way, this is the original Google website, Google page with the logo from 1994 or 6. I don't exactly remember, but yeah, they went a long way. So yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Do you have this as a screensaver?
Hmm?
Do you have this as a screensaver?
No, this is my working desktop.
See the matrix. So would you say that if you use these tools in your normal development cycle, so to say, or in your release cycle, you would have a good basis as a security measure that you can say my website is safe.
Yes, well,
nothing compared to a professional security audit, probably.
it's not comparable to the professional security audit, but it will give you some pointers, what you forgot to add and what you need to look into. It will very nicely find out all the stupid things that you forgot, like you put like super secure application, and because you are running out of time and you are testing this one thing, you just left this one field unescaped. And it will find it, and this will help you. And of course, if it's a website for a large customer with possible repercussions if something gets broken, yeah, you have to hire a professional pen testers. They will, first of all, they will do a professional test that will take a few days. They will generate a full report, and they will take responsibility for this. But this is something that you can incorporate in your workflow. So, and especially if you work in a team, then you don't know what the other developer did. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think this part is important because if you have a really crowded site, some people will try to exploit your site. But if you have some online site, this bots is always trying to exploit your site. So these tools are going to act like the bot. So you at least have a basic protection, the first layer of protection inside your site.
Yeah, and it might sound very easy to go away. It sounds very easy. Oh, I know everything about security, right? Because I wrote those applications all the time. But it doesn't work that way. I made like really silly mistakes, and then when I run those tools, I'm like kicking myself under the desk because it's like, oh, Jacob, this is so silly. This is so simple. Why did you forgot to put this or put that? It's because when I'm working on the website, I'm not thinking like a hacker that tries to break my website. When I'm trying to break it, I'm like, what if I do this? If I just, instead of this parameter, I try to inject something or use all those very, very complicated tools. So this is quite important, and yeah.
Is there also a tool to analyze your code for and scan it for best practices, or if you did your server hardening correctly? Are there also tools for that?
For server there are, but I don't know off the top of my head. We have some sort of like an audit for the server, but this is more for the DevOps, and okay, it runs fine. I don't know. I only can check with the tools if, for example, some sort of firewall is on the server, because I can try to detect if mod security is on or not, and then try to bypass mod security. But
also PHP, so source code analysis.
I can't remember. There is software that can analyze if a variable is an input variable, if it is ever checked and marked as operation, don't want it to be so that the code becomes from dirty to clean. And it also treats database in most instances as a dirty source. Sometimes it is dirty, sometimes not.
in PHP Storm, if you install, sorry for the plug. definitely there is a. I'm not really sure if it's part of PHP Storm or if it's from the PHP mess detector, but it detects if you are using like get, post, or request directly or just passing them through something. And the same goes with SQL. If you using like PDO and parameterize the query or not, it will just warn you about it. But I don't know if there is.
Using it. You're not using it in your development.
Yes, I'm using it. Yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah. It's like a running in the background all the time. But sometimes it's not sophisticated enough. It's not sophisticated enough. So some of those attacks, or sometimes might be that when you stare at this warning for long enough, you just get completely blind to it, and then save, close, quickly, push, pull request. The other developer is like, oh, I'm dying, it's too hot, or I'm dying, it's too cold, pull request accepted, and there you go. All right.
So is the the level of these tests, are they what they call the 0-day ones, or are they the most regular ones? What?
Well, they are always 0-day one because you run them when you try to release one, right? But
I mean the vulnerabilities that they tested, or are they just common patterns that actually?
If you run them as I showed you here, they will only test for the most common patterns.
Okay.
Because this is just download it, run it, click scan. But you can spend, yeah, well, yeah. Then you can spend few more days on configuring it, adding your own patterns of scanning. For example, I know that this website is using a lot of JavaScript, so I will try to beat the hell out of it using XSS detection. And I have a specifically prepared rules for just XSS with they take ages, like 2-3 hours to scan the whole website. But I'm pretty sure that all the fields and everything will be detected. So if I forgot to put something.
Wow. But you have to create those yourself. It's not a set of exploits.
No. But you will get pretty much an image of what you can do when you just run them with the default settings. And once you start finding some vulnerabilities, then you get into checking the request response, playing around with it, and stealing your own cookies and then passing it through the proxy and trying to hit again and see what happens. And
yes, so the more you play with it, the more familiar you get.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right.
Great. Any more questions?
Thank you, then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
To be honest, that scared me a little bit.
Well,
how easy it is.
you will be
find
really
this stuff.
scared when you get a real report from the real pen testing company, and then you will be scared shitless.
Well, in my experience, they usually come back with things like, you don't have secure HTTP cookies and stuff like that. It's the most common. Not bragging about the applications that I build are not vulnerable, because they all are. But
Yeah.
And sometimes we just forget to look into the simple things. Oops.
well, thanks again. I really enjoyed this talk. It's it's different than we have every month. Well, we always have something different, which I think is good. I changed the title to the proper one, so it almost fits in there. So if you liked Jacob's talk, or if you didn't in any way, please leave any feedback on JoinIn, so Jacob can learn from it and go to other meetups and conferences and stuff about this.